Since young, we're always taught the notion of show, not tell, right? Whenever we write a composition or an essay, we're taught show, not tell. We want to kind of describe someone in a way through their actions, through their background, and express who they are over time with our words. And telling would be like, instead of this person is dumb, we show that by describing in situations how dumb he really is. We go into specifics, we use certain words to describe how it is like for somebody to be that dumb. We show how he reacts to certain things. We show his little nuances and his little eccentrics that showcase him to be a dumb person. And a lot of us, we go through life thinking a lot. A lot of us, we go through life not knowing what exactly represents the self. And I think this idea of show, not tell has been giving us the answer this whole time. Who we are is what we choose to do. Our actions. And I think we all know this. Our actions define who we are. Our little eccentricities, our little choices, our small little reactions to things. What we choose to do, and that's all that matters. And I find that we all are way too stuck with intention. We're too obsessed with, what was the intention behind this? Or what's the strategy for this? How can we go about this in a calculated manner? How should I think about this? Instead of just acting, instead of doing, and following our instincts and learning along the way and experimenting and fooling around and fucking around and finding out. We want to think, and we want to strategize, and we want to make sure that our love is reciprocated before we give any love back. And that kind of stinks. In life right now, I'm constantly fighting with this small little heartbreak. I don't really want to go into details because she might watch these videos, but I've also been really trying to learn about what really fulfills me, what gives me that high thumos, that high spirit, that high last for life, that excitement, and what I really want to do day to day. Instead of having to plan and structure how I want to make money, how I want to get fit, always opening up my Notion app and doodling down what I would do for the next week or the next day or the next few months, just to feel that little bit of productivity, that feeling that satiates me, that I'm heading somewhere, I'm doing something, so I don't feel so lost and confused. But I've been watching some videos lately on retard maxing, on just letting it go, on just doing, on just following the spirit, following what brings you that level of fulfillment. Which at the start, right, if you start off as a gamer gooner, you probably don't know what it is, and that's why you might need some structure, you might need some planning, you might need some discipline, you might need some you need to be really harsh on yourself and maybe leverage on your shame and your resentment a little bit at the start. But at some point, this shame and resentment becomes toxic, it becomes counterproductive. It starts to eat away at you. You do things expecting something back. You do things expecting to achieve a certain outcome, and the second you feel fine again, the second the resentment or shame fades for a day or two, you let yourself go. And then you get confused again, and you get pissed off again, and then all of a sudden you're shameful and resentful again. And when does that cycle end? So we gotta do what makes us happy. In a weird way, I always thought life was about meaning and fulfillment, but maybe it all circles back down to having fun, to fooling around. And of course, there's going to be responsibilities. There's going to be times where you can't afford to have fun. All of the above, right? Of course. But I think having fun really comes down to more living from the spirit, living with faith, to do, to act, to instinctively act on what choice will fulfill you the most in that moment. To act in a way where you can look yourself in the mirror the next day and live with yourself. To act in a way that isn't structured or planned or strategized around another person's value system. To find out what works for you and the world around you by making those choices yourself. Dude. I think I'm gonna be training every day from now on. I feel like I need to be in constant movement, you know. I've been cycling a lot. I need to be constantly moving. If I don't constantly move, I start to think. So you gotta keep taking action. Especially if you're a big thinker like me. Gotta move. And when you train every day, of course, you know, recover and all that, but you can just reduce your volume to a huge amount, like doing 2 sets or maybe even 1 set per exercise so that you can recover. Just have fun with it, you know, it's all about having fun. What really fulfills you, I really like that feeling of the high intensity, you know, all out, quick workout, boom, bam, and then I look amazing with a pump and I go home. Beautiful feeling. I also really like training specific skills and getting better at them. We want to get a handstand, I want to fool around and get better at fighting and shit. But it's hard to figure out what we genuinely enjoy because that fades now and then, right? It will fade now and then, of course, and sometimes bad days, you know, you just want to do absolutely nothing but just think. You just want to sit down and stare into space and think. And if that's really what you want to do in the moment, but not a means of, you know, thinking that you can outthink something and kind of figure out a calculated plan to go about it, but instead just sitting with yourself and you genuinely enjoyed it, that's probably good, that's probably fine. But you can't outthink your emotions, is something that I'm starting to see. You can have different perspectives, you can have different levels of awareness, but it is that thinking that brought you that sadness in the first place. You have to remember that. It is because we think, it is because we consider, it is because we get frustrated and we look at all these different possible outcomes and we live out of fear. We fuel ourselves with fear and hatred and shame that we keep crashing and burning, right? That we keep turning back into this need to think. And I think that we just have to resist it and fuck around and find out that we can actually carry ourselves pretty damn well if it comes down to it, by just acting and learning along the way as we act. Gotta do, gotta act, gotta move. Yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Well, very soon. I think I enjoy recording these introspective videos. It's kind of thinking, but it's also just, you know, talking. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. But who will watch this? I don't know. I'm just following what I enjoy right now. I like reflecting, but I don't want it to be a perpetual habit and something that I believe would solve all my problems by just outthinking it. Can't do that. Not smart enough for that. Just gotta do. Just gotta live. Nice, dude. And all of you know how we want to kind of keep reconsidering how we appear and how we express ourselves and how we act and what we do in order to charm another person, in order to become somebody that gets more things out of life. And I've tried to do that for ages. It's a circle of pain because you can't control the outcome, I feel. You can kind of influence it, but I feel like that's just an idea that's pummeled into us because let's say that how do I even put this into words? Let's say that you thought about how to do something. You thought about how to do everything, right? And then you get like a 60% success rate. Then you believe that success rate is due to the thinking, and that's why you keep thinking. But that success rate could be just out of pure instinct, just out of the fact that you are just natural, you are just already capable. And when you stop thinking, you could be achieving the same amount of success or even more, without the hatred, without the pain, without the rumination, without the sadness, the anxiety, and you're able to achieve the same amount of success or more. And by success, I mean like how people respond to you, these little wins here and there, being able to, mediate an argument in your family without thinking about it, being able to connect with a person and communicate with them effectively without overthinking about it, being able to, see success in your business, see success in your fitness, in your health, in your life, without thinking about it, and just do it. When just living off faith, living off instinct and love and spirit. Maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the way. Because at some point thinking really becomes super counterproductive. I'm not telling you to not think as well, dude. I can't believe this shit. It's not something that can be defined. It's a way of life. It's a way of feeling. And I'm leaning more and more into it. We have time. We have room to experiment. What real consequences are there anyway? But yeah, as much as I can say that, of course it fucking hurts, dude. We get rejected over and over again with no fucking control over it. What the fuck? And we feel like the failure is on us all the time. It's like we are fully responsible. It's like there's something wrong with us, something we're lacking, and it feels terrible when we get rejected and when we fail. It feels like a reflection of our own insufficiency, and it makes us feel inferior to other people, and we carry that shame. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But I think the solution is always to just act. Just act. Do something. Do something. And you'll find time to think about it along the way. You will. You will find time to think about it. As you're doing shit, sometimes you just want to stand in the space. Like my window's open right now. You just stand in the space. Just listen to some nice sentimental music and just think, that's kind of sad. Anyways, back to acting. Back to doing. Back to doing shit that fulfills me. High Thumos, baby. Can't force shit. When you approach it with like this, when you approach things you want with this neediness, it almost runs away from you. You almost create like a nervous system barrier away from it because you're pedestalizing it. You're putting it above you. You're putting it as your God, something you worship, something you need. You become needy, and you put it on a pedestal, and it always stays there because you think of it that way. You know what I mean? So we gotta act. We just gotta act. We gotta act. We gotta cheer fucking loudly when we win. Cheer fucking loudly, because who else is gonna do that for us? And I'm sure there will be. Not trying to create this whole narrative of like, oh, we're so lonely and things like that. Dude, there will be. There's amazing people out there. Oh my god. I live by faith. There's amazing people out there, and I already know some, which is an incredible gift for me. But I wish I had more. Alright, I love you guys. See you soon.